Good morning, welcome back to Ladybug Grace. Today's March 1st, and this is the cover of the new they call it Devoted Living, but then I can't even think of booklet for the month for this. That's quite beautiful, all the intricacies of the brick laying there and tile. That's really gorgeous. But anyway, so we're in March 1st, and we're going to Joshua 2:8-14 today. And the reading is, God has the final say of our future. Excuse me. 8. Okay. Before the spies went to sleep that night, Rahab went up to the roof to talk with them. I know the Lord has given you this land, she told them. We are all afraid of you. Everyone is living in terror. For we have heard how the Lord made a dry path for you through the Red Sea when you left Egypt. And we know what you did to Sihon and Og, the two Amorite kings east of the Jordan River, whose people you completely destroyed. No matter our hearts have melted in fear, no one has the courage to fight after hearing such things. Now swear to me by the Lord that you will be kind to me and my family since I have helped you. Give me some guarantee that when Jericho is conquered, you will let me live along with my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all their families. We offer our own lives as a guarantee for your safety, the men agreed. If you don't betray us, we will keep our promises when the Lord gives us this land. So I'm just reading it beforehand. Okay, so she lied and told the king that they left. Okay, interesting. Okay, so the reading today is Rahab, a prostitute in the enemy nation of Jericho, had faith that the Lord would rescue her family from the Israelites' impending attack. We aren't told why she chose to protect the men of Israel and trust God. Perhaps Rahab herself didn't know why she risked defying the king on behalf of two strangers. What we do know is this. On trusting in God's protection, Rahab became grafted into the story of his people. The Lord didn't count Rahab's sin against her, but instead spared the woman's entire family and redeemed her history. Ultimately, Rahab chose God's way over her own culture and livelihood at the risk of her own life. When her city and its walls fell to the ground, she joined the family of Israel and was given a new home. Faith changed the trajectory of her life, and she's listed as one of the women in Jesus' lineage. Similarly, faith in God invites renewal and change in our own life. It's not our sin that the Lord ultimately considers, but our faith. Rahab's story reminds us that we don't have to be perfect for God to use us. No matter what we have done, He can reweave our broken past into a future filled with grace. Reading that is the first time reading it, actually. I listened to it this morning as I was doing things around the house. But I want to cry, and not like a sad, like breaking down, I lost somebody cry, but imagine that. I mean, in a way I can understand personally, because she chose to change her own culture, livelihood, and walk away. I was raised Roman Catholic, like I've mentioned here many times. And when I stopped going to the Roman Catholic Church, it wasn't favorable for me. There was a period of time, my mother didn't even talk to me. And I always got are you going to church when I would come visit? My dad and that. And I would say, no, Dad, I don't do that anymore. No, Mom, I don't do that anymore. This is who I am now, and so forth. I'm a Bible-believing Christian. I don't follow that doctrine anymore, the Catholicism. And you can just see the disappointment in them. And I always wonder what would happen. Everything's sort of fine now. Except when I talk about it, she'll be like, well, I'm glad you're going to church, and I'll get that at least. But the comments were always disappointment of, I thought I'd raised my kids right because I'm not a Catholic. And that hurts because basically I did the same thing. I turned my back on my culture because my family's been Catholic for a very long time. And I've had some family members leave, and like one became a Mormon. And I'm trying to think what the other one changed to. I can't think what it was. But anyway, so I'm not the first. And her kids, it didn't end well with them. I mean, she talked to them after a while, but to her it was my aunt. It was a quest to conquer, to bring them back. My mom never did that, but she was very cold to me, and it was really hard to know that period of time there I didn't talk to my mom. It was a while. I mean, there were some other things going on too, but she didn't talk to me, and wasn't very accepting of it. And even now, I don't really have any friends because I changed a lot of my ways. I don't drink anymore. I don't carouse. I don't carry on like that. Not that I ever was like a hellion, but I don't support that. I'm not comfortable in that environment. So I don't have those, what I thought were friends. They weren't really friends. They were drinking buddies, let's be honest. So I can understand that you can change your whole way, and I can relate, and it made me sad to think, but at least she had her family to be there too, for companionship. So that's why when it was saying here, you have to have faith. So I have the faith. I'm in a new church, and it's rocky because it's very different, and I'm still trying to understand their ways. But faith in God invites renewal and change in our own life. So I had total faith in when I went down this road, and He's changed my life. On some areas, it's still a battle that I do slip sometimes to go back to my old attitude, and that's a work in process. But the sin is not what the Lord ultimately considers, but our faith. That made me want to cry a little bit. And I was even watching this YouTube video off the Curb, K-I-R-B. He's based in I think London or England somewhere. And he was doing some preaching out there, and he was going over sins and have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? Well, you sinned, and and rightfully so, we should go to hell because we sinned. We're sinners. We're all sinners. But because we have the faith in God and Jesus spilled His blood to save us, He forgave us no matter what. So that story here reminds me of that, and because we're not perfect, and we don't have to be perfect for God to use us. And that goes back to the other, there was a reading that not that long ago of, what is our purpose here? I forget even where that was. Believer's Impact, maybe? Maybe that's where it was. There was something that we talked about, God has a purpose for us here. What is that purpose? And we need to find what that purpose is. He just didn't, throw us here and say, go. He has a purpose for each one of us here on this earth. So that's amazing. And this video is a little longer. It ended up being longer because first time reading it, I didn't have my thoughts together. So this is a true reaction to the reading today. So it hit me a little hard in the chest, so to speak. But last line says, no matter what we have done, He can reweave our broken past into a future filled with grace. And that's all I need to say there. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.